Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we're going to continue our study on the Supreme Trinity personalities. And we're on section 3 tonight, the Ancients of Days, and that starts on page 209 of the original Urantia book. So let's say a little prayer and we'll get started. Father, thank you for the opportunity to share this wonderful revelation with folks, both in our group and on the internet. We thank you for the opportunity to do this. We thank you for the knowledge you've given us in this wonderful revelation and all the things you reveal to us. They're, oh gosh, almost without number. There's so many of them. We thank you for the opportunity to share this, and we pray that you'll open our hearts and minds that we remember a little bit of it from day to day and from year to year so that we can tell everyone else about it. And we thank you for our many blessings in life and our Creator Son Michael and our local universe Mother Spirit. We thank you for all of our angels and all those support people that help us out, and the Ancients of Days, which we're going to study tonight. We say this in your Son Michael, Jesus of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the Ancients of Days. Gary, you're on the top corner, so you get to start.
See what I get for coming early?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, Ancient of Days. When mortals of time graduate from training worlds surrounding the headquarters of a local universe and are advanced to the educational spheres of their super universe, they have progressed in spiritual development to that point where they are also to recognize and communicate with the high spiritual rulers and directors of these advanced realms, including the Ancient of Days.
Okay.
Now, how many advancements do I have to make before I get there?
Well, quite a few, because you're all the way up. By the time you get to Uversa, you're a 4th stage spirit. Okay, so when you leave our local universe, you're a 1st stage spirit. So by the time you get to meet the Ancients of Days, you're 3 levels above the 1st stage spirit, so you're able to recognize and see them and talk to them, that sort of thing, because each one's on a different dimension as you go up. As you go from the local universe to the minor sector, it's a different dimension. Then you go to the major sector, it's a different dimension. And then when you go to the worlds of Uversa, the 490 worlds of Uversa, that's even a different dimension. So as you go up spiritually. So you can actually see and communicate with them by then.
It's the coming of the 5th dimension.
It's coming of the 5th dimension. That's right. All right. Now, remember that when we talked about it last time, there's 21 Ancients of Days, right? There's 3 for each super universe headquarters, 3 Ancients of Days on each super universe headquarters. And this is much like the major sectors and the minor sectors. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but there are 3 administrators of both let me slide down here and just show y'all. There's the perfections of days, and there's 3 of those in the major sectors. And then there's the recents of days in the minor sector. Okay. And the recents of days, there's 3 of those in the minor sector also. There they are. Okay. So they're like the super universe. The rest of the universe is kind of takes, their cue from the organization of the super universe. All right. And since there's 3 of them, these beings are created perfect. All 21 of them was created perfect by the Paradise Trinity at the same time. And when that happened, that's when personality began to be recorded in the 7 super universes. Okay, so there was no record of any personalities recorded before the Ancients of Days. That's why they're called Ancients of Days. They're the most ancient in the super universe. All right. And let's go down to the next. I'm getting ahead of myself in paragraphs. So let's go down to the next paragraph. Diane, would you take the next one, please?
The Ancients of Days are all basically identical. They disclose the combined character and unified nature of the Trinity. They possess individuality and are in personality diverse, but they do not differ from each other, as do the seven master spirits. They provide the uniform directorship of the otherwise differing seven super universes, each of which is distinct, segregated, and unique creation. The seven master spirits are unlike in nature and attributes, but the Ancients of Days, the personal rulers of the super universes, are all uniform and super perfect offspring of the Paradise Trinity.
Okay, now something really important they're talking about in this paragraph, and that is what? The Ancients of Days are all created by the Paradise Trinity. And when they were created, unlike the seven master spirits, remember the seven master spirits has the tendency of the seven combinations of the Trinity, don't they? So each one of them is a different combination of the Trinity. But the Ancients of Days are not, okay? The Ancients of Days are all exactly alike when they're created. They have individual personalities, but they are not like the seven master spirits who resemble one of the seven combinations. That's how they differ. Now, this is the same with all of the Supreme Trinity personalities. Okay, all the way from the secrets of supremacy down, all the way down to the very bottom, the faithful of days. Okay, so each one of these, unlike other personnel of the master spirits, don't have the same tendencies of their what? Super universe. Okay, they are all the tendencies are all the Paradise Trinity. Okay, that's what makes them different. Okay, so, and they're all identical. You see why there's just 21 of them, because there's 3 in each of the 7 super universes, and 3 times 7 is 21 last time I checked, right? Yeah. All right, let's see here. Rodney, would you take the next one, please?
You said from the secrets of the Trinity down to the eternal of days?
Down to the faithful of days.
Faithful of days.
Yeah, they're all Trinity created beings. And they're not, you know how all the beings of a 7 super universe has the tendencies of one of the 7 master spirits, right? That's not the case with these beings, okay? They have their own tendencies of the Trinity. Now, a point they're going to make here in just a minute in a later paragraph is that because unlike the 7 master spirits, the Ancients of Days got their position without experiential experience, right? The Supreme is gaining experiential experience from all beings of all 7 super universes, correct? You with me still?
Yes.
Okay. Since the Supreme Being is gaining all this experience from all the other beings, when all 7 super universes reach light and life, guess what happens? The Supreme Being becomes the head honcho of all 7 super universes. So that would do what? That would put the Ancients of Days out of a job, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Or directly under him.
Well, that's the point I'm going to make, is when that happens, because of that fact, the Ancients of Days, they believe, will become the vicegerents for the Supreme Being. You follow me? So vicegerent, in other words, they will be in charge under the supreme being at that point, rather than being in charge on their own right now. You follow me? So they will fall down one level as being under the supreme being.
That's a long time away, though.
That's a long time
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Now, let me make a clarification. I'm saying this like they're going to lose some of their power. They don't. Okay? Because the supreme being is active right now in what? The seventh master spirit. Remember? The seventh master spirit right now is the vicegerent for the supreme being. You follow me? In the seventh super universe. So when the supreme being gets to become in full fruition, they believe the ancients of days will stay just exactly like they are, but they will be called the vicegerent of the supreme at that point, instead of the seventh master spirit. You follow me?
So they'll have a name change, a
They'll
title
have a
change.
name change. That's right, a title change. Okay. All right. I know that seems lots complicated, but you'll see how this all works out in a second here. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Okay. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Yes. The seven master spirits on high determine the nature of their respective super universes, but the ancients of days dictate the administration of these same super universes. They superimpose administrative uniformity on creative diversity and ensure the harmony of the whole in the face of the underlying creational differences of the seven segmental groupings of the grand universe.
Okay, so the ancients of days, because they administrate the seven super universes, and they're all exactly the same, right? There is no difference between one super universe and another administratively wise, like there are other things because of the differences in the seven master spirits, right? So being that the ancients of days are all exactly the same, that gives a oneness to all seven super universes. You see that? The administration. Yeah, Jane.
So, Roger, could you have an example of what type, perhaps, of administrative uniformity they would apply? Could that be, like, I'm thinking, what would it be that is going to create the harmony between such diversity? Is there an example, like if I'm...
Yes, there is. There's a perfect example of that, Jane, and that is justice and wisdom. Okay, because the ancients of days are the chief justice arm of the seven super universes. In other words, all seven super universes are handled justice-wise or court-wise, if that's what you want to call it, all exactly the same in all seven super universes. So this oneness in justice, mercy, mercy coming through the sun, the justice, the mercy, and the wisdom of the ancients of days, the wisest beings out there besides the eternals and the secrets of supremacy, the wisdom of them. So that gives this oneness to all seven super universes because of the justice arm of the universe. So if you get judged anywhere in all seven super universes on any level, and there's multiple levels, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute, but if you get judged on any level of all seven of the super universes, you would be judged exactly the same in any of the seven super universes. Okay. Perfect judgment.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect judgment. There's two beings that become important to us. All right. The guardians of the universe, okay? And the, let's see, we're going to get down to, I don't know if I want
It's
you to
okay.
name-
You
no.
did answer my question, Roger. Thank you.
Okay, the thing I wanted to mention though, that there's two beings, we're going to come down to it in a minute, that become important in this, and that's there's administrative, there they are in my brain, they finally came up. The divine executioners, all right? The divine executioners and the guardians of the universe. Two most important beings to all beings. Why? Because the guardians of the universe are the beings that they send out to bring you in front of the ancients of days if you're found in cause of rebellion in the universe. And this is the same in all 7 super universes. Okay, so if you do something where you have started a rebellion or create a rebellion, it's the guardians of the universe that will apprehend you. They're the apprehending arm of the universe. They will come and get you and bring you before the ancients of days. Okay,
Yeah.
it's the same in all 7 super universes. That's why this is important. The divine executioners are the only beings which the ancients of days can authorize to remove the life force in you. And that becomes really important, right? If you're a judge,
Especially the person being judged, yeah.
yeah, if you become judged, the divine executioners are sent out by the ancient of days to remove that which makes you who you are. Your life force is removed, and it's as if you never were, and you will never be again. Okay, those are the two beings that's involved in this, and they're the same in all 7 super universes. Okay, you know, remember when Jesus said the wages of sin is death? This is what he was talking about. Okay, so if you sin against the universe and you continue rebel against God, there is a judgment. Okay, and the ancients of days are the only beings that can decide this, right? Okay, so that's why it becomes so important. Okay, let's go down a little bit further. And Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Millie.
When they determine that someone has no goodness left in them and they decide that he can just be gone.
Yes.
Never was, never will be, ever.
Right.
Never was. What if while he was present in the universe, maybe on our planet, and had family?
Yes.
If he had children, if he never was, he wouldn't have children.
That's right. But if he did, okay, Millie, the perfection of the universe works this way. When those people that were relatives of that person,
Yes.
when they wake up on the mansion world, all memory of them will be gone. They won't remember them any longer.
Roger?
Yeah.
To continue with Millie's thought, had he been a father,
Yes.
he would have had something to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously he wouldn't have fathered those children, even if he was the seed for their body. He may not even have been
Jane,
aware.
there's many people out there that father children that never take responsibility for them.
That's what I mean. So
yeah,
there is no value in just, is there value just in producing?
No,
That's an animal
whatsoever.
thing.
No, the animals can do that.
They do that. Yeah. So
yeah.
not only do we have to have children, and if we are blessed to have them, we got to parent them.
We have to parent them. Yeah, it's just as much the father's responsibility as the mother's.
Yeah.
Just as much.
So because of that, he could be, because if he actually fathered, or if anybody actually mothered, they would have something to be saved.
Probably so, but that may not be the determining factor. People can make a decision not to survive. We all can
Okay.
make this decision, right?
Okay. How's that?
Roger,
Even when we get to the mansion worlds,
the
right?
decision is a conscious decision,
Conscious decision. That's correct.
not mistakenly or
Not
out
a
of
mistake.
ignorance. It's when
No.
you absolutely know
Yeah,
and you
Right.
become the iniquitous one.
that's right. And the other thing is, getting back to Millie's question, is this: if someone is that iniquitous and that bad, do you think there's anything about them that we would want to remember? Probably not, right? You know, we've all met people in life that after we've come to not know them any longer, we think, what a waste. You know, I mean, it wasn't a benefit to your life to have known them. And we've all known people like that in our lives. If you get old enough, it's going to happen sooner or later. You know, some people,
They become bad examples.
they do. That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's
Anything
useful.
of spiritual value we remember when we get to the mansion worlds, right? Something
hope.
like that. Some people like that are not of what? Spiritual value. Right. Yeah, it's a perfect system. Now, there's a big difference too that I probably ought to mention here, since we talked about annihilation. You know, when we get judged after we die, we are not reconsciousized during our first judgment, are we? We're not conscious of it, because it happens before we wake up on the mansion worlds, right? Your guardian angel and your thought adjuster determines your worth to represent that in front of the ancients of days, and they make the decision, or the divine counselors one make the decision whether you have something salvageable and why you should be awakened on the mansion world. That's the first judgment, right? But after you get to the mansion world, okay, if you rebel after you get to the mansion world, you will probably have to stand before the ancients of days. You see the difference? Because the first judgment, you don't even know what's going on, right? You're asleep. But if you get judged again after you get to the mansion worlds because you've gone astray, that's a totally different process, right? And an interesting point is this: when you fuse with your thought adjuster, okay, your father fragment, there's no record of anyone who's fused with a father fragment ever being guilty of rebellion.
What about Caligasca?
He did not have a thought adjuster. He didn't fuse with a thought
Roger,
adjuster.
that would be like God rebelling against himself. and
Himself. That's exactly
would
right.
be imperfect.
That's right.
Okay.
Makes sense? So after you get to about the fifth mansion world and you've made your final decision to fuse with that adjuster, you're in like Flint. You become a real son of God, right? At that point. That's why they call it a real son of God. And at that point, a real son of God will not rebel against God because he's got a part of God in it. Now, the Lananondex sons, they aren't fused with adjusters, are they? You know, like planetary princes and system sovereigns, none of them have thought adjusters. So they can rebel and they can be pulled before the ancients of days. And that's exactly what happened to Caligastia, Satan, and who?
Lucifer.
Right? All three. They will all have to stand before the ancients of days. Now, when I say stand before the ancients of days, they may not physically be transported directly in front of the ancients of days. That's not what I'm talking about. We have reflectivity all over this universe. They may be taken to the local universe capital, and through reflectivity, they will stand before the ancients of days by reflectivity. Okay? In other words, it would be just like standing in front of a mirror and you see the ancients of days and they can see you Okay. So that's
Something like
how,
Zoom.
like Zoom. That's right. Okay. And I didn't mean to get this far off this paper, but this is a function of the ancients of days. That's why this is also important, right? It shows you the importance of the ancients of days. Okay, Millie, you're up.
Okay. The ancients of days were all trinitized?
No,
The one before.
yeah, the one before, the seven master spirits.
The seven master spirits on high determine the nature of their respective super universes, but the ancients of days dictate the administration of these same super universes. They superimpose administrative uniformity on creative diversity.
We read this one.
We read this
We just
one,
read
yes.
this. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
Millie,
read
told
it.
you the wrong one. You were halfway through it and I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead and get the next one.
All righty, we'll go on. The ancients of days were all trinitized at the same time. They represent the beginning of the personality records of the universe of universes, hence their name, Ancients of Days. When you reach paradise and search the written records of the beginning of things, you will find that the first entry appears in the personality section. The first entry appearing in the personality section is the recital of the trinitization of these 21 ancients of days.
There it is. So they were the very first ones to receive personality in the seven super universes.
Roger,
Yeah,
it makes you wonder if when they were first recorded, if that was their name, or if that name is because of our English vocabulary, the definition of what they are.
that's exactly.
I mean, you know, if they're
right, Rodney.
newborn,
Yeah,
how would they be ancient? Because they're
yeah.
the first.
No, right. They're all of these trinitized beings are named in this book for our benefit.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, all of them. And what they tried to do is pick names to give them of something we would understand.
Yeah, the symbols that best
The symbol-
represent
That's right.
what they are. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah, they maybe have names just like we, but Tom, Dick, and Harry, I don't know. You know, who knows?
Right. I understand.
So, yeah. All right. So here's a picture of Uversa, the capital of our local universe, and the three ancients of days, right? And this is the 490 satellites that we will go through each and every one of them. Now, an interesting point on this is they show us here in this one, that when we come from U major the fifth, from our major sector, 1 of 10 in our local, or in our super universe, we will land on one of these planets, one of the 490 planets that surround Uversa, and we'll work our way into Uversa. Okay. But when we leave Uversa to go on to where? Do you think?
To Havana.
Havana. That's right. We actually leave by seraphic transport from Uversa to the very first world of Havana. That's right. All right. Okay, let's go on. Jane, would you take the next paragraph, please?
These high beings always govern in groups of 3. There are many phases of activity in which they work as individuals, still others in which any 2 can function. But in the higher spheres of their administration, they must act jointly. They never personally leave their residential worlds, but then they do not have to, for these worlds are the super universe focal points of the far-flung reflectivity system.
So the ancients of days can appear through reflectivity at any point inside their local, the super universe, anywhere. Okay, it's up to them, right? All right, let's keep moving. Gary, would you take the next one?
Okay, Where do you want me to start? You just
The
messed with my
personal
screen.
abodes. There we go.
Okay, the personal abodes of each trio of the Ancient of Days are located at the point of spiritual polarity on their headquarters sphere. Such a sphere is divided into 70 administrative sectors and has 70 divisional capitals in which the Ancient of Days resides from time to time.
Okay, so
Must
there's
have ran for president, have all those homes.
yeah, really. So there's 70 different administrative sectors, right?
Wow,
Okay.
they have a lot working for them.
They do. Now, another interesting point here is they're located at the point of spiritual polarity on the headquarters sphere. All right. What is at our point of spiritual polarity on our planet?
Is it when we fuse? I don't
No.
know.
No, it's
That's
an
where the,
archangel base.
Which one?
There's an archangel administrative base at our point of spiritual polarity.
And what is that polarity? What do they mean by that?
Well, that is the point where all the transport seraphim come and go. Okay.
Okay.
So
So that
when
would
you
be our
die,
magnetic north.
huh? No, it's not on the
Magnetic north?
magnetic north. There was a group around for a long, long time back in the 70s, early 80s that believed that this our point of spiritual polarity is in Northern California, believe it or not, in the redwoods.
Roger,
Yeah.
isn't it true that on the more advanced worlds, there's the sea of glass, the receiving
There
field?
is. Yes,
Is
there
that
is.
considered spiritual polarity
That would be the
on those
point of,
planets?
yeah, that would be the point
Well,
of
it looks to
spiritual
me
polarity.
like there would be something materially similar on this planet.
Not necessarily,
Maybe buried
Rodney,
though.
because it would be in what phase? It would be in a Urantia state.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
I forget where the sea of glass is. Is that when we go to Uversa?
That's where we go to the mansion worlds.
Yeah.
There's
In
a
the
sea-
very first? The
Well,
very
from there
first?
on up,
for there
Oh.
on up. Yeah. Yeah. There's
Okay.
actually I believe the Sea of Glass actually starts on the capital of our local
Jerusalem.
system. Yeah, Jerusalem.
Oh, Jerusalem.
Yeah. I'm not sure that there's one on every mansion world. There's a place, there's a point of spiritual polarity for sure, but I don't know if there's a Sea of Glass there or
But
not.
Jerusalem is what I was
Yeah,
looking
I
for.
believe I've read
So-
before. I've read this book so many times. I'm almost positive it says it starts in, it shows up on Jerusalem.
So
Okay.
the spiritual polarity
Yeah,
is definitely different than the physical polarity. The
polarity. That's right.
magnet.
But on our
Even-
planet, it's a archangel station. It's
Mhm.
basically a station for the archangels. And that's where all the transport seraphim leave from. And according to the book, at midnight, they come and go. Okay, every night.
And it's
So-
not the Northern Lights.
It's not the Northern
No,
Lights.
no, not at
But
all.
they say in the book that when everything is perfect, many times humans can see the flash of the seraphim taking off from the planet. And it apparently looks like much like a shooting star would. Okay.
That's
so-
interesting.
So when you look up in the star and you see a shooting star, what you may be seeing is what? The transport seraphim leaving
On this
Roger,
earth or?
on this earth. Yeah.
so I have a question too about that.
Yeah, Rodney.
Like when Jacob had his dream or vision,
Mhm.
he saw Jacob's ladder,
Right.
angels coming and going.
Right.
That's more or less what we're speaking about.
Right.
The reason, do you think that also the thought adjusters come in onto this planet through the spiritual polarity field?
You know, Rodney, I doubt it.
Oh,
You
you
know,
doubt, okay.
Yeah, let me tell you why. Because God the Father is unlike any other entity.
Right.
He he permeates every type of reality, right?
Correct.
Every type of dimension, everything. So I think God the Father and the adjusters move independently of everything, okay, on their own.
Yeah, there's not an adjuster channel
There's
or,
not an
or
adjuster. No.
circuit. We've
Yeah.
never studied that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't ever say anything about an adjuster circuit. They
Yeah,
say
okay.
that the angels all travel on circuits, don't they? Okay.
Correct.
So we know that the angels go the same pathways, and they do that to keep from running into each other,
Of
right?
course.
Okay, but they're moving at such tremendous speeds. But it's interesting that they mention that they leave from the point of spiritual polarity, and that humans occasionally can see them come and go, right? Another interesting thing is they say that many times right before death, people can see their guardian angels, right?
Mhm.
Remember that?
Mhm.
And if that's the case, apparently we're fading between this reality and getting ready to move into what? The next reality, right? Because they have to put you to sleep to transport you, right?
Yeah, I knew we were talking about.
It's a 3-day trip, isn't it?
A 3-day trip. That's right. Would you say?
And some of the sightings that we see and hear about very likely could be some of these transports.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could very well be, right? Especially these lights in the sky that just seem to disappear,
Yeah.
right? We don't know, right? Many possibilities in the universe, right? Okay, Gary, did you just read, or did I just ask you?
I think I just read.
Okay. Yeah, you did. Okay, dear, would you take the next? Hang on, let me mute here.
In power, scope of authority, and extent of jurisdiction, the Ancients of Days are the most powerful and mighty of any of the direct rulers of the time-space creations. In all the vast universe of universes, they alone are invested with the high powers of final executive judgment concerning the eternal extinction of will creatures. And all three Ancients of Days must participate in the final decrees of the Supreme Tribunal of a super universe.
There it is. So it takes all three of the Ancients of Days to make the decision to pull the life force out of you, right? And they are the only beings that have the right of final judgment on this. Now, yeah, let me mention something here. It talks about the creator sons having the authority to do this, but they never do. Okay? Because they always kick it up to the highest authority, which is whom? The Ancients of Days. That's right. So there's never any question, right? So when you go against the creator son, you better know what the heck you're doing, because he's not going to mess around with you. He's going to kick it up to the Ancients of Days, and they're not going to play with you, right? That's all there is to it. So
Yeah, but they're so generous with their forgiving.
that's the mercy of the Son you're talking about, Gary. And them being the representative of the Trinity, right? Created by the Trinity, that mercy of the Son comes through them. You follow me?
Yeah, as I'm saying, it's pretty, to have the life force withdrawn from you, you have to be
really bad.
Really, really, really bad. I mean,
yeah.
They
stated as nothing salvageable in you, right? In other words, they let you go to the nth degree before they decide, hey, this is enough. They really do.
And the other big point is that you mentioned just a few minutes ago is that they don't want to survive.
That's right.
They
Beings
don't desire.
Yeah, they are totally disillusioned with this universe. And by the time you get to that point, there's probably nothing worth salvaging you, right?
I think it's called chaos.
Well, they call it cosmic insanity.
Cosmic, yeah, chaos.
Yeah, yeah. When you're cosmically insane, it makes no sense, right? There's nothing about the cosmos that makes any sense to you anymore, right? Okay, let's keep going. Rodney, would you take the next one?
All right. Okay, which one am we on?
Aside from the
Okay.
deities,
Aside from the deities and their paradise associates, the Ancients of Days are the most perfect, most versatile, and the most divinely endowed rulers in all time, space, existence. Apparently, they are the supreme rulers of the super universes, but they have not experientially earned this right to rule and are therefore destined sometime to be superseded by the supreme being, an experiential sovereign, whose vicegerents they will undoubtedly become.
you catch that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
What you
explains
said.
it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring out a couple little points here too while we're on this paragraph. Notice here it says they're the most perfect and most versatile and the most what? Divinely endowed.
I
Right?
want to meet them. I can't wait to meet them.
Yeah. They're the divinity of the time-space existence. You see that? The 7 super universes are what? Time, space, existence, right? When you go to Havona, what happens?
There's no time
There's no time, there's no space,
or space.
right? So
Roger,
that's why they say here that the Ancients of Days are the most perfect. Who's the most perfect in Havona?
The
The
Trinity,
Eternals. The Eternals.
the Eternals of Days.
Right? Who's the most perfect in the 21 satellites of the Father, Son, and Spirit's satellites?
That's the Trinity ones.
That's the Trinitized secret
of supremacy.
That's right. You got it? But for time, space, the Ancients of Days are it, right? The highest divinity, the highestly divine, and what? The most versatile and the most perfect beings.
So you're saying they are the ultimate authority in the physical world.
In the physical worlds, the finite worlds, the 7 super universes. Okay?
Okay, so the first stages.
The first stages. I'm going to up one you on that too, Gary. They're also the final say on right now, the outer space levels, right?
mm-hmm. That's
And
true.
until something changes in the outer space levels, they will remain the final authority in those also, right? Now,
Correct.
God the Father may have a totally different plan. When he gets the worlds going out in the first outer space level, he may decide that he's going to assign a new type of being out there to be his divine representation out there, right? We don't know, right? A lot we
So,
don't know. Yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
The supreme being, until the eternals, until the ancients of days, you might say, came online,
Right.
the supreme being, that part of God was void as well, right?
Right.
So
But
it's interesting that it seems to me that the ancients of days are, what does it say here? That they're experientially learning as
they
the
go.
supreme being is.
That's right. They are.
Mm.
Yeah, they are. But all right, there's a difference, Rodney. They're experientially learning in their own personalities, right? Each one of them.
Oh, right.
They're not gaining their experience of all beings of all 7 super universes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so
Understood.
if you want to say it this way, the supreme being is one-upping them,
Right.
right?
Gotcha.
Because he's getting everybody's experience,
Even theirs.
even theirs,
But
right?
is that because when they're created, they are total, complete within themselves, and they will never change?
That's right. They're
While the
divinity.
supreme being is evolving and changing,
Right.
is
Right.
it?
Yes, because they are already divine to the point where they're omnipotent, omniscient, and just like
Omnipresent.
God the Father.
They're complete.
They're complete,
Yeah, they're
Complete.
complete.
right? Already.
I understand.
So
Okay.
they're of a different nature, a different kind.
That's right. Now I'm going to want to make one more statement before we talk about the very last paragraph of that. And this is this. You will not find this information where?
In the book?
In the Bible.
Oh, in the Bible.
Nowhere to be found in there, right? They're mentioned in the Bible because of the teachings of Melchizedek, okay? But you will find no information about the Ancients of Days other than they are the judgment arm of the universe.
And no one knows how to talk about them anyway.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah. So, can some of the things I'm telling you be wrong? Of course it can, right? I'm not deity, you know, I'm a human being too. I'm telling you what I know and what I've learned, right? But there are no authorities on the Ancients of Days other than what we can find here in the book, right? And this is the most exhaustive you can find anywhere because nobody else knows, right? All right, let's go on to the last paragraph. I think, who just read it? Did Rodney, did you just read again? Okay, Millie, would you take the last paragraph there?
Yes. The Supreme Being is achieving the sovereignty of the 7 superuniverses by experiential service, just as a creator son experientially earns the sovereignty of his local universe. But during the present age of the unfinished evolution of the Supreme, the Ancients of Days provide the coordinated and perfect administrative over-control of the evolving universes of time and space. And the wisdom of originality and the initiative of individuality characterizes all the decrees and rulings of the Ancients of Days.
Now, it's interesting in this last paragraph about the Ancients of Days, it compares the sovereignty of the Supreme Being to the experience of the Creator Son. Okay, and we know that the Creator Son goes through 7 what? Bestowals, right? In the 7 types of beings that he creates. Okay. It's interesting that the Supreme Being is really earning a 7-fold sovereignty too. How? By the 7 super universes. Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the Supreme Being is doing exactly what the Creator Sons do, or you could say the Creator Sons is doing exactly what the Supreme Being is required to do. Makes sense? So you can see the importance of the 7 bestowals for the Creator Sons. You know, it's not something that somebody just milly-nilly thought it up, right?
Roger,
There's a reason for it.
the Supreme Being also gains experience from the Creator
Creator
Sons going
Sons.
through
That's right.
their different.
Incarnation.
Yeah.
Through
7
their
bestowals.
life.
Yep. That's right.
But it's it is a how do you say that? Like there is harmony, and there is there the harmony of working together, and
Yeah. Yeah. There has to be that harmony is created. Now, I'm not going to go into the perfection of days tonight because we don't have enough time. But is there anything you want to ask me about the Ancients of Days that I might be able to answer for you? Because this is really the exhaustive information on the Ancients of Days.
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Jane.
I think, I'm not sure, but so the Ancients of Days, seeing that they are in charge of all administrative perfection, law,
Mhm.
justice, so would they also then govern all the down the different layers that come
do.
after them?
Yeah, they
They
do,
would
Jane.
be the head of all of them.
Yes, everything. They're the final decision on everything. And that's why there's advisors all the way down to the faithful of days, to the constellations, so that they can, those constellations can get the advice from the Trinity itself if it needs it. Right.
Right down to the seraphim and archangels, ultimately.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. So no more questions. Let's say a little prayer and we'll move on to the perfections of days next time. Let's see here. Who hasn't prayed in a while? Gary, would you like to close us in prayer since you were the early guy?
I don't like your notes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our Father, keep us in mind that and remind us that we should be ever mindful of your requirements of love the Father and treat each other as we would love to be treated ourselves. I don't want us to become so involved in who did what and did and forget or lose sight of your message to us at this low level. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And thank you at home for joining us. Please come see us again. You want to stop the recording, please?
Goodbye.